Referred to as the Holy Grail of silent films, Cleopatra is a very rare film to own physically. It was very expensive to make, and though it was successful financially, all copies of the film were eventually destroyed in fires. There are still hundreds of stills of the movie, and there has been a restoration project for it, but the original cut is likely lost forever. The original cut of Suicide Squad was significantly cut compared to the final cut. The final cut of the movie was 2 hours and 10 minutes, but the original cut was 2 hours and 45 minutes. Much like Zack Snyder's Justice League, the entire continuity and context of the movie is completely changed once in comparison to the original cut of the movie. Considering the final movie was edited by a trailer editing company, this isn't very surprising. There's even scenes from the trailer that aren't in the movie. This was a college project that served as the basis for what would eventually become the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy. It was much darker than Billy and Mandy, with gore and violence. In the short, Billy and Mandy get a trepanation, or a medieval medical procedure in which a hole is driven into one's head to let out quote-unquote bad spirits. It is in the style of a 1930s and 1920s cartoon. At one point it was lost, as it was in a film reel, but eventually it was transferred to digital by the creator, I think. This image is the only evidence for this episode's existence. It's called Snuffy's Parents Get a Divorce. No, I'm not making this up. Yes, this was real. Test screenings reacted negatively to the episode because the kids didn't understand and thought whenever their parents would argue that they would get a divorce. In the original episode, Snuffy's parents would get a divorce and they would try to make it a normal sort of thing. The episode has never been made public as a... This episode does not exist. It was rumored to be about the two main characters confessing their love for each other and the show ending. It was confirmed by the creator of the show to be fake. Banjo 3E's existence is unconfirmed, as there were rumors that the game existed, and there were teasers for other Banjo games. Eventually, Banjo and Kazooie Nuts and Bolts would be the sequel to Banjo 2E. There has been no word on another Banjo game from Rare since then. This was supposed to be a sequel to the classic Diddy Kong Racing. The only evidence of its existence are a few pictures and an E3 trailer. It was supposed to have a lot of similarities to Diddy Kong Racing, with multiplayer, Donkey Kong characters, and the characters ride on the backs of animals. This was a cancelled game about the origin story of Boba Fett. The game was created in response to LucasArts' other games having a negative reception. It was cancelled due to their later acquisition by Disney. No demos of the game have resurfaced. The only thing that remains is the trailer. There is a lost build of Luigi's Mansion that had different content in the game. The tech demo of the game had a different look and feel from the final game. These include minor things like the shape of the vacuum to there being a timer. Maybe the game was originally supposed to be much darker, given some of the content appearing to be much darker. We'll never know, as none of the demos have resurfaced, and given Nintendo's notoriety for not releasing demos, it's likely we'll never know. Meowth's Party is a real-time tech demo that was shown at Nintendo Space World 2000. It was created by the same team that worked on Pokemon Stadium to show off the GameCube's graphical capabilities, and features Meowth singing and dancing on the stage, where he soon gains a crowd of many Pokemon to watch his concert. The demo has never been released.
手拍子なのでお願いします。どうぞ。パーティーでした。どうもありがとうございました。
This was a pilot for a show for the superhero Metamorpho. It's never been made public, and the only evidence of its existence are images of it, reports of it in books, and its theme song on YouTube. Given that it was made in the 1960s, it will likely never be found. This was a flash game developed by Nintendo about finding stolen files. It was discontinued on January 16, 2007. It would be re-released in 2010, but it was taken down a second time. Today, its website only shows a favicon of Chubby Snow. It was eventually archived in December 2018. Imagine having two of the most greedy and manipulative corporations in recent history be given control of your game. Free Radical Design and LucasArts were having issues developing Star Wars Battlefront 3, but progress was being made. When Disney acquired Star Wars, they canceled the game and fired everyone at LucasArts Games. EA would later help make a new Star Wars Battlefront game. Screenshots and videos of the game have been released, and there is an early build of the game that was released in 2016, but it was early in development. It is riddled with bugs and other issues. isn't much information on this game other than a video of a tech demo. 128 Marios walk on a miniature planet and interact with small objects. Audiences thought it was a sequel to Mario 64. The demo was only a tech demo, and no other content from the game would ever be released. Miyamoto would confirm that this was cancelled, but elements of it were used in things like Super Mario Galaxy, Metroid Prime, and Pikmin.
じゃあ、スーパーマリオ128のスタートです。まずは、ドットがマリオの登場から始まります。はい、マリオ出てきました。このマリオはですね、マリオ64の時に、出てるのと同じモデルを使ってます。1個が700ポリゴンでできてます。4人出てきましたね。で、64の時はこれを1人と敵を5つぐらい。で、それをすごくたくさんいるように工夫して苦労して使ってました。で、背景に使うポリゴンもこのマリオ2人ぐらいで作ってたんですけどね。で、はい、これで20人目、30人目ぐらいですね。じゃあもうすでに30人目ですね。ちょっとこちら荒いんでね、こちらの方がいいかもわかんないですね。この、こいつどのマリオこれこの真ん中に座ってるやつですね。こいつがマリオ64ですね。はい。70、90、さあ、どこまでいくでしょうバレてますよね。127、8。はい、出ました。はい。はい、スーパーマリオ128番目。以上、スーパーマリオ128を探せでしたが、このデモで今見ていただいているようにですね、マリオが128人で出ます。で、箱を持ってますよね、みんな。入ってた箱。これドットなんですけど、これが128個あります。ちょっと足りないですね。で戻します、もう一回。はい。箱128人の、こんな感じですね。2、5、6の結構出てますね。当然アニメーションやお互いの衝突処理もしてます。AI でいろんな考えを持って動いてますよね。サウンドの処理もちゃんと聞こえますか？動いてますね。かなり実際のゲームを作るに近い状態で、処理ソフトの状況をお見せしています。で、画面の下にちょっと見てほしいんですけど、細い線が入ってますね。これ処理メーターなんです。これ処理メーターなんですけども、これが一番右の端まで行くと、スーパーマリオ64が1フレームかかってた時間ですね。30分の1秒かかってたんですね。で、今、マリオ64の100倍ぐらいのオブジェクトキャラクターが動いてます。で、しかも当然これ、ファイルの画面でありますから、4倍の絵を描いてることになるんですけども、で、ポリゴン処理を数字で言えばですね、100倍と4倍書いて、いっぱいっていう感じです。いっぱいです。で、今はメモリの、ちょうどメモリで見てると3分の1ぐらいですね。半分以下で処理してますね。ですから、これは60コマ以上で動くってことですね、これが。で、そう、これちゃんと地形の背景チェックもしてるんですよ。地形をちょっと動かしましょうか。はい。こんな感じで景色ができます。こう転がったりしてますね。ちゃんと、登れないようみんな転んでました。もっと激しい地形にしましょうか。ゴロゴロゴロゴロ転がってます。もうちょっと変えましょうか。これね、フレキシブルに、ウェブですみたいですね。ふにゃふにゃふにゃってなってます。はい、動きました。こんなところでじゃあちょっとライト処理なんかいじりましょうか。ライトを、変えてください。はい、上になったり横になったりいろいろいます。他にも多彩なライトあるんですけども、ちょっとマリオを見ましょうか。これマリオね、スーパーマリオ64と同じマリオです。で、ちょっと退屈なんで、今後期待されるトゥーンシェードの中に変えてみましょうか。漫画のマリオに変わりました。ですね。もっとなんか変えましょうか。もうちょっと、なんか透明マリオとか、はい、透明マリオになりましたね。すごいな。すごいね。ちゃんと動いてますね。はい。これ、モーションブロワーなんかね、よく使うからやってみまし のバー見てください。すごく安定してますね。カメラが近づいたり離れたり、それからブロワーかけたり外したりしてもメーターがほとんど動かないです。だから割とそういう処理のことを気にせずにゲームが好きでそうですね。開発経験者の方がたくさんおられると思うんですけども、このマリオって全部マリオだから速いんだろうとか疑われるでしょ。そんなこと心配のようですね。これ実は全部ちょっとずつ違うマリオなんですよ。よく見てもらうと分かるんですけど、色なんかちょっとずつ違います。それで個別にマリオ全部処理してますから、ショット図も全部取ってますから、心配が疑わない。それじゃあ、マリオ同士も全部当たってますからね、ガーッともう食べると溜まっていきます。なんかチャーハンみたいですよね。炒めちゃいましょうか。具が足りない。はい、具が入りました。はい、美味しそうなチャーハン。ちょうどこうお腹が減ってきた時間なので、だんだんチャーハンに見えてくる。僕はマリオはやっぱりイタリア系の人なんで、ピザの方が好きなんですけど、スパゲッティとかピザとかなんか、ですかね、スパゲッティがいいかな。はい、ピザになりました。ピザとチーズが乗りましたね。はい、これでマリオが見ました。発売に近づけばですね、もっと美味しそうなピザを作る自信はあるんですけども、はい、ピザを箱に片付けて、はい、以上、スーパーマリオ100以上です。
This was an animated comedy series set between episode 3 and 4 of Star Wars. 39 episodes were completed, but the series was postponed indefinitely. Some clips are available online, but the show overall is lost.
Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something. Join me, and together we will rule the galaxy.
Cut! I quit! This is the holiday special all over again.
SpongeBob was originally called SpongeBoy Ahoy. Given that this name was already taken by a mop, to avoid copyright infringement, the name was scrapped and reworked. It was speculated that there was a version of Help Wanted with a different intro sequence, and SpongeBob is known as SpongeBoy. The pilot was made on November 16, 1997. On 2009, the original opening sequence was uploaded on RetroDrunk. Also, a screenshot that's very hard to come by of what appears to be the original SpongeBob auditioning for a place at the Krusty Krabs. On November 24th, 2015, the pilot was found, but sadly it's in edited form, and the name was changed to SpongeBob. The last episode of Angry Beavers was cancelled, likely due to it referencing its own end and it criticizing Nickelodeon. In the episode, the characters break the fourth wall and talk about how Nickelodeon uses reruns without paying the creators. In the end, they say April Fools, implying the series isn't over. Nickelodeon cancelled the show after this. There's a rule forbidding any Nickelodeon shows from referencing their own end. Only stills of the show and the audio remains today. Super Mario Kart R is a build of Super Mario Kart with several differences from the final game. At the Shoshinkai Software Exhibition 1995, the Ultra 64, later known as Nintendo 64, was shown off for the first time to the general public. Along with the reveal, 30 games were revealed or had playable demos. One of these was Super Mario Kart R. The game was presumed to be very complete, with one of the main differences from the final game being that a Magic Koopa, most likely Kamek, would have been playable in the game instead of Donkey Kong. The game also had the feather item from Super Mario Kart, a different item box, different title screen music, and a slightly different HUD. This was a sketch comedy show where the preteen cast would do the things mentioned in the title of the episode. This was a Nickelodeon show, so it was rather tame. Only half of the episodes are found, and they are in good quality. Entire seasons are also lost. It would usually feature the use of green slime, of all things. I assume that's where the green slime thing was popularized on Nickelodeon. Seasons 5 through 10 are mostly lost, and the episodes that are found are likely in poor quality. Some of the seasons never aired on Nickelodeon, and it drew controversy for its jokes about Ronald Reagan's death. A lot of Pink Floyd's live shows are lost or partially lost, as full-length footage of events are extremely rare. Pink Floyd has a strict no-camera rule. It had that in the 1970s, as with many other bands. There are 20 notable live show recordings in the Syd Barrett era, 1966 to 1967. Only 5 of these were recorded and found. Most TV appearances remain elusive, despite their volume. Less than 20 TV segments are available today. 4 of the 6 songs performed at Hyde Park and Fête des Humanite, 1970, were recorded. Film reels for things like Live at Pompeii outtakes have either been destroyed or are unavailable. There are also recordings that may not even exist, but are rumored to exist. This was a version of Mega Man that was a 2D side-scroller that allowed you to play as 3 versions of Mega Man, and it let you play as Ryu from Street Fighter. A demo was given to game journalists, but the game was never released, or any builds aside from a patent. To quote the vice president of Capcom, "The game was pretty far in production. I will say that we weren't pleased with where it was collectively at Capcom as a product from a quality standpoint. We opted to say, you know what, it's probably better that this not come out as opposed to it coming out and not necessarily giving the experience we want people to have. I know that's hard for fans to hear because they want to try it and want to play it. It doesn't matter what it is." At the time of filming Back to the Future, Michael Fox was busy working on Family Ties. Eric Foltz was cast as Marty McFly instead of Fox, but Fox eventually took the iconic role. Footage of Foltz's performance has not been released aside from stills and dialogueless clips. Director Robert Zemeckis plans to release the clips in the future. The 1910 version of Frankenstein was lost, despite being the first version of the character put to film. Since its original release, the film had been listed as missing. There are no copies of it known to exist. That was until an original nitrate print was finally found in Wisconsin in the mid-1970s. This was a 3D Sonic game that went through development hell before being cancelled. It was going to be about Sonic collecting the Rings of Order to prevent Eggman from using his Death Egg to destroy his home planet. Executive meddling and creative troubles prevented the game from being completed. There are currently 6 builds of the game available today. 2 of them are demo builds, and most of them are development builds with varying